Marvel has set up some of the biggest moments in cinematic history, but let's be honest, they've also left us scratching our heads more times than we can count. We are talking about those post-credit scenes that got us hyped beyond belief, only for Marvel to completely ignore them for years. Today we are breaking down 8 of the most confusing unresolved post-credit scenes in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And here's the crazy part, some of these might never get explained ever. So if you've ever wondered where the Eternals disappeared to, what happened to Hulk's son, or why Hercules hasn't shown up to fight Thor, you're in the right place. Let's jump straight into it. Let's start with Sharon Carter, because her story went from 0 to 100 and then just stopped. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we found out that Sharon wasn't just some retired agent, she was the power broker running a criminal operation in Madripoor. That alone was a massive twist, but then by the end of the series, the US government reinstates her as an agent and we think okay, she's back on the good side. But wait, literally moments later we learn she's been selling government secrets to criminal organizations. She's playing both sides, and then nothing. Marvel never followed up. We don't know if she's still out there, if she got caught, or if she's secretly a Skrull, which was a huge fan theory during Secret Invasion. But that show came and went and Sharon Carter wasn't even mentioned. So what was the point of all that setup? It feels like Marvel just dropped a bomb and walked away. Next up we have Mordo, and this one stings because it was such a personal betrayal. In the first Doctor Strange movie, Mordo is Stephen Strange's mentor and friend, but by the end he loses faith in the Ancient One and in magic itself. Then comes the post-credit scene that gave us chills. Mordo starts going around and stealing the power of other sorcerers. He literally takes the magic from a guy named Jonathan Pangborn, leaving him paralyzed again. The message was clear. Mordo was going to become a major villain, hunting down every magician he deemed unworthy. Fast forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and we do see Mordo, but it's a completely different version from another reality. The original Mordo from our timeline, gone, vanished, no explanation, no closure, no showdown with Strange. It's like the writers just forgot about him. And honestly, that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the MCU. Now let's talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because that movie gave us one of the most intriguing post-credit teases in recent memory. At the end, we learn that the Ten Rings aren't just ancient weapons, they're actually broadcasting some kind of signal into deep space, a message, a beacon. Something out there is listening and we have no idea who or what it is. In the comics, the Ten Rings are connected to an alien race called the Makluans, who are basically giant dragons, and one of their most famous members is Fin Fang Foom. Fans went wild with theories, expecting that we'd see Fin Fang Foom in the sequel or maybe even in Avengers Doomsday, but so far, crickets. Marvel hasn't addressed that signal at all. It's been years and we're still in the dark. What was that message? Who was it for? And why tease something so massive if you're not going to follow through? And speaking of teases that went nowhere, let's talk about Hulk's son, Scar. In the She-Hulk series, we got a surprise appearance from Scar, who is Hulk's son from the planet Sakaar. For those who don't know, in the comics, Scar is a huge deal. He's a warrior, he's powerful, and he has a complicated relationship with his dad. But in the show, he just shows up out of nowhere, says a few lines, and then the series ends. We don't know if he's staying on Earth, if he went back to Sakaar, or if he's even going to be part of the Avengers moving forward. With Avengers Doomsday on the horizon, you'd think a character with that much potential would be front and center, but nope, Marvel seems in no rush to explain where he is or what he's doing. It's almost like they introduced him just to check a box and then moved on. Then we have Hercules, and this one really gets under my skin because it involves two of Marvel's strongest characters. At the end of Thor, Love and Thunder, we see Zeus, who is absolutely furious at Thor for embarrassing him, send his son Hercules to hunt Thor down and get revenge. Now in the comics, Hercules is one of the few beings who can go toe to toe with Thor and even Hulk. He's insanely strong, durable, and a total powerhouse. So when that post-credit scene dropped, fans were losing their minds. We were ready for an epic showdown, but since then, nothing. No Hercules appearance in any movie or show, no mention of him in any upcoming projects. It feels like Marvel planted this huge seed and then just let it wither. Maybe they're saving it for a future Thor movie, but with all the multiverse chaos happening, it's hard to see where he fits in. And that's frustrating because a character like Hercules deserves better than a one-off tease. Let's move on to Dane Whitman, also known as the Black Knight. In Eternals, Kit Harington played Dane, a regular guy who happens to be related to a long line of knights. In the post-credit scene, we see him open a box containing the Ebony Blade, one of the most dangerous and powerful weapons in Marvel Comics. The blade is cursed, it's magical, and it gives the wielder incredible power at a terrible cost. The scene ends with him touching the blade and hearing a mysterious voice. That was a huge setup for something dark and supernatural. But after Eternals, we haven't heard a single word about Dane Whitman or the Ebony Blade. No Disney Plus series, no movie cameo, no mention in any other project. It's a total dead end. And honestly, that's such a shame because the Black Knight could have easily teamed up with characters like Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, or even Ghost Rider to form a supernatural team like the Midnight Suns. But instead, Marvel just left him in the dust. Now what about the entire team of Eternals themselves? I mean, these are immortal, godlike beings who have been on Earth for thousands of years. They're incredibly powerful, way stronger than most Avengers. But at the end of their movie, we see them split up, and then in the second post-credit scene, Harry Styles shows up as Eros, aka Star Fox, along with Pip the Troll. They take off with some of the Eternals, and we have no idea where they went or why. With the multiverse collapsing and Avengers Doomsday approaching, you'd think the Eternals would be right in the middle of the action, but they're nowhere to be seen. Did they go to space? Are they hiding? Did they get wiped out off screen? Marvel hasn't given us any answers, and it's starting to feel like they just don't care about this corner of the universe anymore. That's a huge problem when you've invested an entire movie into building these characters. And finally, we have to talk about Kang the Conqueror. This one is the most painful because it wasn't a creative choice, it was a complete behind the scenes disaster. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania set up Kang as the next big bad, the Thanos level threat that would unite the Avengers. The post-credit scene even showed us the Council of Kangs, hundreds of Kang variants from different timelines, all gathering together and plotting their conquest. It was epic, it was terrifying, and it made us excited for Avengers, the Kang dynasty. But then Jonathan Majors, the actor playing Kang, had serious legal issues and Marvel quickly cut ties with him. They completely changed their plans and replaced Kang with Doctor Doom for Avengers Doomsday. So now we're left with a giant question mark. What happened to all those Kang variants? Are they still out there? Will we ever see them again, or did Marvel just erase Kang from existence? The show Loki made it very clear that Kang and his variants are essential to the timeline, so you can't just pretend they don't exist. But Marvel seems determined to move on without addressing any of it. So why does Marvel keep doing this to us? Why set up all these incredible threads and then just abandon them? Well, sometimes plans change, sometimes directors leave, actors get replaced, or storylines get cut because they don't fit the bigger picture. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating for fans like us. We invest our time, our emotions, and our excitement into these movies and shows, and when Marvel leaves us hanging, it feels like a betrayal. It's like reading a book and finding out the last chapter is missing. Some of these mysteries might get resolved in future projects, maybe Avengers, Doomsday will surprise us. But honestly, for a lot of these, the chances are slim, and that's the hard truth. Now I want to hear from you. Which unresolved post-credit scene bothers you the most? Is it the Eternals disappearing, Hercules never showing up, or maybe Kang getting scrapped? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe we'll make a part 2 if enough of you ask for it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We bring you awesome content like this every single week, covering theories, breakdowns, and all the mysteries Marvel leaves behind. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay curious.